So, I just thought I'd show you guys a little bit of the sharpening process goes on when I make a knife. I made a jig here, just got a bolt through right here so I can adjust how it sits on the table here, and I've got it adjusted to do these bevels in this knife, and I've had to adjust it a little deeper. It's kind of a learning process. My geometry isn't very good, so I just have to do hit and miss. So anyway, I thought I'd show you a little bit of how this works. I don't know if it'll pick it up on camera or not, but you can see my initial grind came up to here, and I don't want it to go any farther than that, and so I've had to steepen the angle of my jig because I'm not to the center of my blade yet here, but I'm high as I want to go, so I've had to steepen it and bring this in a little bit so that by the time I get to the center of my blade where I want to stop on this side, I won't go any higher than where I've ground to, if that makes any sense. And I'm already up to about here again on this new angle, and I'm still quite a bit off from the center of my blade where I want to be, so I'm going to have to steepen it up a little bit more again. But I'm going to go ahead and grind this out until it's up to there, and then we'll see where we're at here center wise, and I'll steepen it up and do another grind until I get it right. Again, I don't know if it shows up on camera very well, but we're right up to here now, and still not very close. Well, we're getting closer to the center of the blade, but I'm probably going to have to steepen my angle one more time and get to the center. I don't want to go all the way sharp. In other words, I don't want to come right to a point on this blade because this knife hasn't been heat treated yet. And if the blade is too thin, then I can burn my steel after it's been heat treated. As it is now, it's just been annealed, so it's all fairly soft. And that's why we want to get these plunges and these bevels ground in now. And I'll get the holes drilled in the tang for the handle pins, because once I heat treat this and temper it, it's going to be really hard to move that steel. I wouldn't even be able to drill my pin holes, because even though I don't really focus on hardening the handle, inadvertently the handle will get hardened somewhat when I quench the blade. And so you know, this is just all rough grinding and drilling up to the point, you know, to a point where you just don't want to go any further until you harden the blade. So I think it's looking pretty good, and we'll continue grinding here a little. So we're getting pretty close here. Just to give you a little perspective, this is what this knife was. A piece of leaf spring from a semi-truck trailer. Basically this same size. This is what it started out as Sunday. And this is where we are today. This, what I'm doing now, all this grinder work and what have you, this is the most tedious part of the whole thing of making a knife for me. I mean, pounding this out on the anvil probably took me, a couple hours of anvil and forge work. But it's all this, you know, then I had to flat grind the entire knife to make sure it was perfectly flat on my flat sander I have over on the table. And now I'm grinding these bevels in, and of course I profiled it a little. This mostly came out of the forge, this shape, off of the anvil. But I rounded this, hollowed this out here a little bit where the tip is. But for the most part, all I did was clean up the edges. This is the shape, basic shape it came out of the anvil. I mean, out of the off of the anvil, out of the forge. So, all right, just wanted to show you a little bit of what was going on and how I make a knife. So, there's that.